Hello everyone, it's Caddy. This is my very first post for the Shimmerz design team. Remember, if you do place any orders on the Shimmerz website, make sure to mention my name and you will receive a free product. So I'm very excited. Here's some of the products I'm going to be working with today. Included in these products are some of the new products that were just released this past week. So we have the acrytones. Acrytones are acrylic paints and they are super fun. You can mix them with other mediums and you can mix them together. So they're really, really cool. So I'm going to be using those here on this layout as well as some other awesome Shimmerz products. So I'm going to start off with this one. This is one of the new acrytones and the color is Pinkadelic. So it's a really pretty pink color. So I'm going to just add a little bit here to my wax paper, and I'm actually going to mix it with Ruby, which is a spritz from the shop. So I'm going to mix it with Ruby, and what it does is it just makes the color a little bit more intense because Ruby is a red. So it is going to make the color a little bit more intense. So I did add some water to it as well. So I'm just playing around here and mixing up some colors and trying to see what I get. So these flowers that I have here, I cut out my Silhouette Cameo. It's a cut file from the Silhouette Studio, and it's actually meant to be a layered flower. So you're supposed to layer all the pieces together. Each piece is slightly bigger than the other, and I did print 2 of them, so I have 2 sets. So each piece is slightly bigger than the other, and you're supposed to layer them on top of each other, kind of curl up the edges, and you get this really pretty flower. But in my case, I'm just going to use them, I'm going to layer a couple of them, but I am going to use some of them just as single flowers. So these 2 are the same size, so I just went ahead and painted those 2 with that color. Then I am going to go ahead and use the Pinkadelic again, and I'm going to use it, I believe I'm just going to use it here in its regular form. Just going to add a little bit of water to it to just water it down a little bit so that I could paint this flower. And what it does is when you water it down is it lightens the color just a little bit, so it's a lighter pink color that you get here. So it's really, really pretty color, and you see it kind of turns into sort of a kind of an almost purpley pink color. So it's really pretty, and it's incredible how just this one color you could do so many things with it. And here I'm just using it as it is, so I'm just using the color as it is, no water or nothing, so that I can get the true color of the Pinkadelic acrytones. So that's what I'm doing here. And this was a lot of fun. This was really relaxing just to mix things up and get different colors here with the paint. So it's really, really cool. So what I'm going to do here is I realized as I was painting on my wax paper, I could totally use this little cut file as a stencil. So I'm going to use it as just that. I'm going to use it as a stencil, and I'm just using the color, the Pinkadelic color, just straight from the bottle. I didn't add anything to it, and I'm just with my brush just kind of dabbing it over the cut file. And what it does is I'm coloring the cut file, and at the same time I'm going to use it as a stencil. So there you go. It's really, really cool. And I'm going to do this a couple times with a few different colors here that I'm going to create. So it turns out really, really cool. And I'm thinking here, do I want to layer them? You know, what do I want to do? Because at this point I wasn't sure exactly what it is that I wanted to do. So once I had that kind of stencil down, I started to sort of think maybe, well, I can create a cluster of flowers there at the bottom of the page, and that's exactly what I end up doing. And this is something that I love to do. I'm a big fan of florals, so anytime I get to play around with pretty florals and pretty colors, I'm happy. So that's what I do here. So there I go again, trying to see if I want to layer them or what it is that I want to do. And I decide to just kind of you know, stop for a while and just go ahead and add some of the leaves. So I take these this paint, which is one of the acrytones as well, and this one is called Jive Jade. So I'm going to paint it. Now what I did here is I did add some water to it, and it watered down just a bit too much. So I'm actually going to end up covering that bottom leaf. But if you're not a perfectionist and you don't really care that it's perfect, then, you know, it's okay, you can leave it. But sometimes I can be a little bit of a perfectionist. So that bottom leaf there is going to get covered up by another flower. I will leave the top one, however. So I'm going to actually let the green paint sit there for a little bit, and then when I come back to it, it's going to be a little bit firmer. So it's going to actually work better when I use the leaf as a stencil. So I decided to go ahead and do same stencil technique with this leaf down here, with this flower down here, I'm sorry. And I actually took another one of my Shimmerz paint mist. This one is the Spritz in Caribbean Sunset. So I'm going to use that one, and that's more of a pinkish, lighter pinkish color. So it's really, really pretty. And it has a hint of coral to it, but it's more of a pink. So I'm going to start placing everything on here and trying to see what I want to do and what I'm going to do with all these different flowers. And I love that they're all different shades. So that's what I really wanted. I wanted a lot of different shades. So I'm going to paint some of them with this one I'm painting with the same color. This is the Caribbean Sunset color, and I'm going to use that. And again, I'm just trying to figure out where I want things to lay. So it just takes me a minute to kind of get everything situated. Here I go, just going over that flower again, just to give it another coat of that Caribbean Sunset color, which is oh so pretty. And with these colors, the more layers you add, the darker they're going to get. So if you do just a light layer, then you're going to get a lighter version of the color. If you add another layer, then you're going to get a little bit darker. So that's just the way these colors work. So there you can see that leaf that I used right there. It actually worked a lot better. So I was able to get a clear image of the leaf. So I was much happier with those two leaves. And I'm going to add one more up there on the right hand side, or on the left hand side I should say. And this works a lot better. So basically, don't water your paint down too much because it's not going to work very well through a stencil, especially this type of stencil, which is not really a stencil. It's a cut file that I'm using as a stencil. But it's always fun to play around with it. So I went ahead and kind of placed everything in a way that I thought I was happy with. I wanted to bring in some more of an orangey coral color, so I brought out one of these little jars. This little jar is a Creamies, and it's called My Clementine. And the Creamies comes in hard, it's a hard substance, so you have to add water to it, and then it does, you know, once you add the water to it, it does obviously turn into a watercolor-like texture. So I just added that, and then I'm going to do another one of those stencil flowers up there using that color. And I love, this is probably one of my favorite colors, the My Clementine. It's so pretty. So then I'm just painting the other one, and I am going to end up using the actual leaves that I cut out, so I will end up using 2 of those leaves, and the rest of them are stenciled on. So I'm just adding a little bit more color to those flowers to get a darker, intense orange color. So I added that to the flowers. And then those flowers that are smaller, that don't have any holes, I'm going to use them as well. What I'm going to do to them, and I don't believe I do this on camera, I'm going to paint them with different colors. I'm going to use, besides the colors that I've already used, which I will bring into the mix as well, I'm also going to use a Vibes in Sweetheart and another Spritz in Cotton Candy. So I'm going to bring those 2 into the mix as well, and just kind of blend the colors and get different colors with these flowers. So I'm going to paint the flowers, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a darker color to the center of them. So just to make the centers pop a little bit, and you'll see that a little bit later when I come back, because I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that. But I will add color to the center, and you can see there it is. I have I've colored the smaller flowers, and then I have added a darker shade to the center of them. So I picked the photos I'm going to use. I had not picked the photos. I do that often. I'll start playing around without actually picking my photo. So I'm going to use these photos of my niece. This was actually taken on Halloween this past year, and she just looks super cute in her little costume. And I printed them in black and white, and I printed 3, and they're small size. What I do is I just make a collage on my phone, and then I print it off at home. And then I just used a scallop punch to punch out the pictures. So I have 3 images of her. They're all different. Sort of a sequence of images of my niece. And I did print them, I don't know if I said it, I did print them in black and white, obviously. So I did that. Now I am taking some fun foam, and I'm going to add that behind the photos. And I am going to overlap the photos just slightly. And they're all going to be just lined up right there where you see them. So I thought about actually adding them to the centers of the flowers, which is something I was going to do, but I really like them just lined up up there. It just tried it there and I really liked it, so I left it. So I did not add them to the center, but that was my thought originally, was to add them to the centers of the flowers, of the bigger flowers anyway. So I'm gonna embellish very, very lightly here. I think the flowers are embellishment enough and it's my main focus. So I'm gonna use some of these stickers from this LE Studio sticker sheet, and it's from the Sienna collection. So I'm gonna use a couple hearts, I'm gonna use a couple little phrase stickers, little circles that say cute. So just a couple things here to just bring in a little bit of something else. I also am going to use the, which color did I use? I did some ink splatters up top by the title, and then at the bottom there on the right, and I believe I used the cotton candy spritz to do the ink splatters. So I'm not sure if I do that on camera or if that was an afterthought when I turned the camera off. I will also use a Heidi Swapp pattern paper. It's a 12 by 12 pattern paper, and it's got white and pink, or more of a coralish pink color. Oh yeah, I am doing the splatters on camera. I do add a border around the whole page, and I don't know if I do that on camera either. Yeah, in case I don't do it on camera, you will notice it in the still shots. So there is a border around the whole page. I just felt like it needed a border to sort of ground everything, you know, and make it, because the white background can sometimes be a little bit stark. So I like something to ground it and make it a little bit feel more put together, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so I'm just fixing my little splatters here because I got them on my leaf, and I'm playing around with those little stickers, and I think this is where they end up. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Make sure you go on over to my blog post and check it out, because I have everything listed there that I did use in case you guys want to purchase any of these products. Remember, if you do make a purchase at Shimmerz, use my name and you will get a free product. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!